Howdy folks, Tex Grebner here with Tex Grebner Outdoors. Here's what's going on, folks. I'm being a total dumbass, and I'm going to get a trail camera card because at this point I've got nothing to lose. We're the day before opening day of season, and hopefully this year I can validate my career choice as an on-film outdoorsman. I'm also too excited. And I've basically, despite my best attempts at being prepared, have left even washing my hunting clothes to the very last. By the way, we're also launching the Tex Grebner Outdoors website, so make sure to look in the description of this video for that, because finally, we're going to have some merchandise available. So, if you want to support the channel, I guess you can check that out. Because I'd rather at least you get a t-shirt than me e-bag through Patreon. But yeah, there's a little bit of stress going on here on account of the fact that, one, I'm side-hilling my way down the hill here. And there's also a little bit of stress because I've been filming my hunts for years and years. And I'm hoping that this year is going to be the year that I break the whitetail curse. I'm super hopeful. But after all, when the sun comes up on opening day, it washes away that phantasmagoria. And quite honestly, there's no way of knowing what's going to happen on a hunt. So, here's hoping something shows up under that tree. Well, pretty damn close, and I ain't gonna get no better by morning. It's October 1st. Welcome to Illinois Archery Season 2018. All the hopes, dreams, and fantasies of an entire year are shattered when the sun comes up opening day and the light washes away the mystery, and you're left with a cold, bleak reality that this season is probably going to be about like the last season. But it was a perfect morning. The wind was in my face, my food plot was green, the weather was beautiful, and the sun came up, and as the day went on, I actually heard some hunters across the property line getting busted and having some deer blowing at them. But unfortunately, I didn't see shit but the ever-present squirrels. Hunting is a visceral mystery, and as opening days go, could have been worse. I suppose that my chances are better than they ever have been at breaking my whitetail curse. Then again, just because they're better don't mean that they're all that good. And quite frankly, I don't really know what to tell you. Hope is the lie that gets us out of bed in the morning. So, there's always hope until the season's over with. Season's still young, and I'm going to be in it as long as it takes. But I'm also not overly hopeful. I don't have high expectations. Now that might sound like negativity, but that's just the reality. The reality is I'm going to be hunting on a small patch of private land in Illinois, and I recently lost access to a larger patch of private land in Illinois, and our public land is overly pressured and underly sized. There's not enough of it to go around. So while my chances are better than they ever have been, I'm also not going to say that they're great. But I got 3 stands to hunt, and truth be told, it's basically going to be a high-stakes game of whack-a-mole. The question is, how many different ways can I come up with saying that I didn't kill shit before you guys get bored and abandon me? That's just the raw emotion that goes through my head when I'm on a hunt. It is so beautiful and verdant in the early season, and it's a pleasure to be out. If I could have my way, I'd like to finally validate my career with a nice buck with my bow and arrow, on film no less, in the early season before the weather becomes so miserable that hunting stops being fun. But as I've said many the time, hunting is a visceral mystery, and there's no knowing what may happen till you're there. So here I sit. The truth is, I bring you the reality of whitetail hunting with a traditional bow, the way that I whitetail hunt with a traditional bow. This is the reality of an Illinois archery season, and trust me, you can't make this shit up. Well, YouTube's kind of like a job, but it's also not my only job, so I had to go live real life today, and I had other commitments, and I didn't get to my stand until about an hour and a half before sunset. There might not be much hope, but there was hope. So I decided, to hell with it, I was going to go hunting. I was going to go sit in the tree, watch the squirrels play with their nuts, and maybe, just maybe, break the whitetail curse. I wasn't real sure at this point what I thought I was doing, but the fact was that I was going to be sitting in a tree. Of course, the cover at this stand is so thick that it can be frustrating because I can only see about 25 yards in any given direction. If the deer are moving around and I don't see them, it makes it seem like the deer aren't moving around at all. But if the deer aren't traveling, the deer aren't traveling. This is about the only profession where you have almost no control over what's happening. I don't get to tell the deer when to show up. All I can do is hope to be here when they do show up, hope that they show up within range, and make the best shot that I possibly can. But I'm not going to lie to you, I have a fear of making a bad shot. I want that deer where I can't possibly miss. The good news is, pretty much anything that I can see from this stand would be in range. The bad news is I also can't see very far, so it makes it quite boring. But at least there's always the squirrels. Now there is also the fact that being an on-film outdoorsman does complicate things. Shit, if I just wanted to kill deer, that'd be no problem. But I care more about filming the animal, telling the hunting story, and capturing everything on film than I do about simply killing the animal. It just wouldn't feel right if I didn't take the cameras out. It's a bit like a fetish that way. You're into what you're into. It's hot, unseasonably hot for October. The sun's going down. I've been working all day. And I probably stink, but I don't have time to go take a shower. I'm going to be heading to the deer stand pretty much as is. So feel free to let me know in the comments what a dumb idea it is, but guess what? You don't live my life. For those of you wondering about why on earth I would not wear sleeves in my tree stand because my bare arms would stick out, I'm going to break the fourth wall here and tell you, in all likelihood, nothing's going to show up. And if nothing shows up, it doesn't matter because it's hot, it's windy. I'm trying not to get tree sick. If you don't know what tree sick is, that is a combination of seasick and a tree stand from the wind blowing the tree around. Of course, I had the chance to go hunting, so as you've seen, I rushed out, got into my stand, but on the way to my stand coming down the hill, proof that Cornunos, the god of the hunt, has a special sense of humor when it comes to me. There was a big nanny doe standing in my food plot 30 yards down the hill that there was no way that I could have gotten a shot at, and luckily she didn't blow, she didn't stomp, she didn't flag, she just casually walked away, which is almost worse. The good news was, at least there was a deer in my food plot. The bad news is, guess what, folks? I live in reality, so I wasn't actually able to be in my stand when the deer came under my stand for a perfect ambush. However, at least I had the squirrels to keep me company. Traditional bow hunting is a commitment to the acceptance of failure. And as I've stated before, I care more about getting the animal on film and telling the story than I do about simply getting the animal. So the main problem with this entire hunt is, when I came down the hill, my cameras were in my pack, and I couldn't even get the doe on film, which is the most frustrating part of the entire damn story. I did not get a chance to go hunting on Thursday, sadly enough, but we picked soybeans until dark, and it was going to rain on Friday, so naturally it was raining this morning, so that meant that I basically got to sleep in. Now, I'm not above going deer hunting in the rain. I've sat through rain, I've sat through snow, I've sat through ice storms in the stand. I basically don't get a whole lot of sleep during deer season because I hunt, and then I end up having to edit the videos and make sure that I get my meal preps done and get my workout in, and by the time that I get done with all that, then I finally get to shower up and go to bed. Trouble is, once I go to bed, that doesn't mean that I actually go to sleep, because it's deer season and I will lay awake at night staring at the ceiling thinking about deer hunting. So, I didn't end up going out and hunting in the rain this morning, but it did turn into an absolutely perfect October day. Almost no wind. It was cool and humid and peaceful and quiet, and everything was just so damned perfect. Except for the fact that, true to form, nothing showed up. That is the way that hunting works. You may not understand, or maybe you do understand, just how difficult, emotionally and mentally taxing it is to go out day after day and sit on a small piece of private property, which is what you have access to, so you got to make the best of it, in thick cover where you can't actually see the animals until they're practically in range, and you go out and you sit and you watch and you wait and you listen and you hope and you pray, and then the sun goes down and you realize that you got your hopes up for nothing. That takes an incredible amount of mental toughness. Not so much at the early portion of the season when the weather is decent, but just you wait. As the season goes on, if it stays empty, sitting in a stand when it's -12 outside, looking to an empty January, that's where the real mental toughness comes into play. But that's just the way that hunting works, and I bring you the reality of an Illinois archery season. Living the trad life before it was trendy. And I am so totally not looking forward to having to hike up this muddy-ass hill in the dark. It's going to be a real bastard. As you can see, I made it up the hill. If you want to support the channel, go check out TexGrebnerOutdoors.com. And I'm going to go edit this video. Life ain't like the pornos. Hunting ain't like the TV shows, and the slow descent into madness has now officially begun. We're well into Illinois Archery Season 2018. Maybe this year I'll break the whitetail curse, but I don't really get much of a say in it. Animals are going to do what animals are going to do, and I got to play by their rules. What can I say? As always, God bless all my sportsmen of America. Join the NRA to protect our rights. Please check out my friends over at threeriversarchery.com. Thank you very much to those of you involved in law enforcement and those of you serving in the military. Thanks for watching Tex Grebner Outdoors.